Today we'll do one of my favorites, the Vikings. So I'm going to decode their petroglyphs. Now, before we begin, what we're looking for is the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye, which is Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury. When you add the sun and moon, you get 7 planets. Uranus and Neptune makes 9. Starting from the left side of the page, you'll see 7. There's 7 planets right underneath the tuning fork. This represents matching your body's frequency with the planet's frequency above. Behind the person, you'll count another 9. This represents the 9 planets. The person above the 9 is holding the power of the 9 planets in his hand. And notice if you look down, he has an extra arm. The person that's not holding the power of the planets in his hand doesn't have the third arm. We'll call it the third arm for YouTube regulations. Behind him, you'll count 7 for the 7 planets. Notice the tuning fork right over top of the planets. At the bottom, you'll see the representation for the constellations, 12. But just like Egypt, you'll see a 13 on it every once in a while. On to the next one. This one's a little busy, but we'll get through it. We'll start at the 5 to the left of the screen. Below, if you count each point, you'll count 5. This represents the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. When you add the 2 circles, you get 7. Or if you add the 4 at the bottom, you get 9. Now let's go where we see the number 7 in the middle. Starting from the fingertips, you'll see 4 on one side. The other hand has 2. The head represents 7. All the dots represent planets. Notice the tuning fork on the leg part. This is a symbol of matching your frequencies to the planet's frequency. Moving over to the number 5, where the guy's elevated up a little because he's holding the power of the planet. He has the third arm out. Now, before anyone snickers, let's not forget the phallus was recognized all over the world in ancient times. It was important for the humans to understand the science of anatomy, being fruitful and multiplying. If you count that characters, 2 arms, the phallus, the head, and the body, which represents the cube of Saturn, equals 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. With the planet he's holding, you go right down the middle, the as above, so below technique. You'll count 12 for the 12 constellations. Where I have it marked 3 over the planet shows the separation where the arms are, dividing it from the rest, acknowledging the 3 gods that gave knowledge to humans: Enlil, Enki, King Anu, the king of earth, which is the most high, because his rank is the highest. At the back, you'll see the number 5. Those 2 tuning forks equal 4. And with the cube in the center of his chest equals 5 for the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. If you count the 2 legs, the wedge beneath it, and the circle under that, you get 9. Under that planet, you see next to the 12 a little tiny dot. Count that, plus the other dot beneath it, the circle. The 2 wedges plus the shape equals 5. Okay, so we'll take our time with this one. The ones I dotted light blue, all are on horses with cubes in their hand for the cube of Saturn. The other 3 horses don't have cubes, so I labeled that as the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. Now, if you include the horses with the red dot without the cubes, that adds to 7. I count 9 total when you don't include the one labeled number 9 in the very center at the bottom, the one that doesn't have arms. The rest of them are holding their arms up in the tuning fork position, like I showed you everywhere all over the world. The one labeled number 9 at the bottom in the middle, if you count all the limbs, including the body having 2 parts, you'll get the number 9. Top right 5, if you count all the ends, you'll get 5. Notice the tuning fork. I labeled in yellow the 5 that's not on a horse at all. Smuggling an extra 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. And of course, from the Stone Age, we have the number 3, knowledge of the gods representation. Starting from the right side of the screen, you see the number 5 with the cube of Saturn with 4 pegs sticking off on the side of it. This represents the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. Next to that, you see the guy with 7. If you count his 3 legs and the 3 at the top, plus the middle body, which is the cube of Saturn, that's how you get 7. The spears are aimed up at the heavens. You see a symbol of Gnosis right next to him. Wisdom and understanding of the stars. At the bottom, you see a comb-like figure that counts 7 when you count the whole shape with the 6 pegs. The character marked number 9 has 3 at the top, 4 at the bottom. That makes 7. The middle of his chest, the cube of Saturn, makes 8. Whereas 9, you say, right next to his hand, you see the dot. And when you count all the dots, starting from the bottom all the way around the page, you'll see 7 for the 7 planets. Starting from the left of the page, you see the acknowledgement for the 3. Inside from there, you see the separation, and where you have the as above, so below, with 7 right down the middle. Same goes for the next group in the separation till you see the darkened block. I marked it with yellow. And if you count all the legs straight back, all the way through the tuning fork, you'll see 5 for the 5 planets. Here's one of my favorites, showing the planet giving life to all things as it rotates in the wheel. On the wheel, you see number 5. If you count the shape, you'll get 5 points. The one beneath has a tuning fork pointed at the planet. Where the deer is, I put in 2 polka dots. You see that is actually 2 letters, a backwards E and an upside down F. That could equal 7. And to the right, you have the as above, so below, with 5 going up and down both sides. 9 people on the boat underneath. Moving on, the top left of the screen, where you see the number 9. I marked in a yellow dot that character. I should know it coming from Judaism, but we'll get to that later. You got 8 boxes underneath the human. His chest makes 9, the cube of Saturn, representing the 9 planets. Of course, he's holding his hands up in a tuning fork shape. To the right of that, you see another 9 with 5 down below, representing the 5 you can see with your naked eye. And then you see 4 planets above that, equaling 9 planets. That would be Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, the crescent moon, Uranus, and Neptune. Under that, to the left, you see 5. When you count all the points, that equals 5 for the 5 planets. Notice the hook shape at the top, no different than the Z-rod in Ireland, intercepting the planet's energies. Next to that, you see 9. We have the as above, so below again. Starting at the very middle, going to the right, you'll count 9 for the 9 planets. The inside where the cross is are dotted yellow, so you can understand the 5 points for the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. This started in the Stone Age, marked as an X, and then became a plus. So when you count the symbol for the 5 planets, which is the cross, and the 4 dots next to it, you have 9 planets as well. Starting at the 7 with a boat, you see the as above, so below representation with the 7 right down the middle, showing 7 on both sides. To the right of that, another symbol for 7. Bottom left, you see 9 for the 9 planets with the tuning fork. Then you have 5 right next to that in the tuning fork shape. This one is what we're here for today, mostly. This part of the show is to show you how they had to reuse the same symbols all over the world. Here's China. You see that same window pane at the top left with the 3 kings symbol right under it. I've shown my subscribers this all over the world. Here's Japan. All of these characters borrowed, not just the ones in the yellow. We've seen them all. Here's India with the window pane and the star of the show. This symbol is recorded from the Dogon tribe, which I've counted at least 17 constellations. So first it started the square and then became the circle in Ireland with 15 constellations. Again, I marked where the cross should be so no one can be confused about its purpose anymore, and why everyone had it way before Christianity even existed. Now back to the characters we saw earlier, specifically the ones from my religion. So I marked them in blue, the ones that's sus. All the yellow ones we already know in this channel that they're from all over the world as well, mostly in cave walls from the Stone Age. Others, civilizations jump-started before theirs. Now here's my version. I marked them in blue, and of course the ones in the yellow, the ones we saw everywhere else all over the world. When you look at the Book of the Dead, you notice that when you put different characters together, they mean different things. Then we spotted this one. It looks just like the Hebrew character. Like I told my subscribers before, first came symbols to represent the planets above, then came numbers, then came characters or letters, and after that came words. Here's proof of two symbols making a character. One down, one to go. Now to the other one marked in blue and yellow. I'm no stranger to turning things upside down. And what do you know? The same thing from the Dogon tribe, the three. Usually on a statue near the temple area where your third eye is, in a reverse three shape. Now here's my Hebrew character. I marked it with checkmate, just like the other characters I've checkmated already in everybody else's civilization. Back to petroglyphs. Notice the undercarriage with the X's that represent the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. Starting at the front of the boat where the 9 is, you have 9 for the 9 planets. The tuning fork in the front, of course. When you get to the middle, you'll count 7. In the back piece, you'll count 5. I did a zoom in for the chance to see the cross a little closer. I marked the yellow so you can see it right over top of all this doohickey. There's so many of the phallus petroglyphs that I couldn't include because it would violate YouTube's laws. This one is mild. I marked it 9 because he has 4 in each hand, and in the middle makes 9, just like the menorah, going from 7 to 9, with 3 on each side in the middle or 4 on each side in the middle. The middle represents the Shemesh, the sun god. You get the as above, so below with the 7 again, right in the middle. On the bottom, you'll see 5 for the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye, divided with the tuning fork, showing the as above, so below. But anyway, back to one of my favorite pictures. The Vikings have one of the craziest petroglyphs I've saw so far, and I loved them. And hopefully, anyone from that area can appreciate this video. And if you like, feel free to compare it to other countries that I've done so you can see the pattern all over the world. The only purpose of this channel is to inform everyone that we all are the same. We got advanced help through every stage and period of human existence, and that they gave us the knowledge of the planets, the mystery of the stone handbags everyone talks about. Saturn rules this system. This is why it's the most important. It is the architect, and it writes all of our stories. This is why India fears Saturn for its karma. Until the next episode, who knows what place I might be next. Saturn out.